Welcome, welcome, welcome to the SubHub podcast. I'm EmKay Sullivan.
And I'm Dani Moreno. And today we have Anna Gibson, who is currently in her 6th year at Washington University. She actually recently got 11th place at the indoor mile at NCAAs. I saw maybe in an Instagram post that wasn't exactly what she was shooting for, but still a great result. Last year in cross country, she was also 13th at West Regionals. And she does have some trail results, which is really exciting. She just missed a spot on the USA team in 2021 because she got 5th place at Narnar, which was a selection race that year. And this past year, she was first in the Rut VK and the Rut 11K. And just to shout out a couple of her PRs, 204 in the 800 indoors, which that's wild to me considering how many laps you do indoors for the 800. Her 1500 is 413, mile 432, her 3000 is 908, and her 5K is 1637. Welcome to the pod, Anna.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
she's fast.
just a little bit. I wonder if that's the fastest 800 PR I've seen coming into trail so far. 204, that is flying.
Thanks. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting combo being like an 800 mile, 1500 girl, and then also doing trail racing. It's an interesting combo.
Yeah. So you're from Jackson Hole originally. So you grew up trail running a little bit. Tell us about, I guess, how you got into the sport to begin with.
Yeah. I guess I was really fortunate growing up to have trails just right out my back door from my house and also like from my high school. So like a fair amount of the training that we did as a team when I started getting into running in middle school and in high school was on trails, which was awesome. Like we would even go up into Grand Teton National Park on occasion and run around Jenny Lake, which was just my favorite training day of all time. We'd get sent home from training at like 8 p.m., but it was just the best. So yeah, I did get to grow up running on trails a bit, which I think just like really got my love for running going. And, I love track as well, but the trails was a huge part of why I love running and continues to be.
And living somewhere where the winters are kind of brutal, did you run all year round or did you do a winter sport when you guys were buried in snow every year?
Yeah, I actually fully stopped running in the winters, and all throughout middle school, I was a downhill ski racer and then quickly realized that was maybe not the most complimentary to my running. So I switched over to Nordic and I raced Nordic through high school. And actually was pretty invested in that as well. And had some really good results there, and was honestly a bit torn when I was going to college, whether I should ski in college or if I should run. And I don't know, running was just kind of always my number one, but I've continued to do Nordic and I coached a little bit on and off. So I'm still pretty like involved in that world.
That's rad. When I think of like what components could, in theory, make a really good trail runner, you definitely have a lot of them with the skiing background. And maybe you didn't see downhill skiing playing into track, but I personally can see how that would fare very well to complementing downhill trail running. Just being able to spot and like just getting used to going fast on really steep stuff. That's really exciting. I feel like we don't need, I want you to just say it out loud, but like why the trail team and why not pursuing, continuing going in track, or are you going to keep doing track stuff?
To be honest, I'm kind of keeping all doors open right now and I would love to do both. That's kind of like my dream because I started having some like, last track season, I was like PRing every race I ran, and I continued to like improve throughout this year so far. Like I ran way better in cross country than I've ever run this fall, and like still was kind of struggling with it and felt like I had a lot to gain. And then indoor track was awesome, but like I just was continuing to kind of like work out the kinks and like be really consistent with my training. So I still feel like no matter how this spring goes, like I've only kind of scratched the surface of what I want to do in track too. And I'd like to run faster and continue to race and gain more experience in that world. But I also love trail running and definitely would like to keep doing that. So I think like a blended approach in the future is kind of my goal here. But yeah, I'm just sort of waiting until June comes around and the end of my NCAA eligibility to kind of figure out exactly what that direction looks like.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's super fascinating with all of you that we have interviewed for the trail team. I just see this blended world of running that is just going to be so much more common, and like how people are going to piece their schedules together. Again, I think that's where it's going to be helpful having like Grayson. I'm sure that maybe excited you, like she's put together some of those calendars, but my mind's just kind of going crazy. Like all you younger people that are coming out of college, like the world of running, I think, is changing. Like if you could do track, cross country, and trail and like make it work, that's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel exactly the same way. And that's like, what's so cool about the trail team is suddenly there's like a network and this awareness that there's a lot of other people who are also trying to do what I'm trying to do. Because I think before the trail team and before Andy talked to me about his idea, I was kind of just like, wow, I feel like I'm kind of going rogue here. Like this is sort of an atypical approach, but knowing that there's other people like, you know, Lauren Gregory and like Mika, like who are trying to do pretty much what I'm trying to do with their own spin on it. And make like this world of running where it's just like running is running, you know, like I think it's just really cool. It's been helpful knowing that those guys are out there.
Yeah. And I think you guys will end up being kind of like an example for maybe athletes who have already graduated even, but especially athletes who are like about to graduate, who are like, oh, what do I want to do? Do I want to stay on the track? Do I want to go to trails? Can I do both? And you guys will show that you can be successful doing both. And we're really excited to see how you guys like put together your schedules and how everything goes. But so you have done some of the shorter like uphill stuff and been really successful, but you've also done 11Ks, which for a track athlete is like kind of far. So what distances are you most interested in racing on the trails right now?
I mean, in the immediate future, I think VK suits me quite well, as do like the short course trail races. I definitely would like to start to kind of verge into the like 26, 28K distance, just because I think that's like really hot right now. There's a lot of like strong competition in that area. So that's kind of the goal, but I think that's going to take a little bit of time. Like immediately after my 6th year track season this spring might not be the best time for me to try that out, but I think I'll probably test the waters a little bit and then kind of try to build up a little bit more of like a distance base as I like move a little bit farther into my career.
I think that's super smart. And you'll keep crushing the VK and the short course distance in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we need more VK specialists just in general in the States. We have like our queens, but we need more out there. So that'd be really cool to get more people just focusing on that, to go over to Europe and dominate in those areas.
Yeah, I do love the VK. It's like my body just loves to go uphill. Whether like it doesn't matter if it's skiing or running or what it is, but like the uphill, it just really likes. So I'm like, okay, we'll feed that. That's okay.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of uphill skiing, like as training when you go home over the winter and stuff?
I do. Yeah. And I mean, I was actually able to incorporate that a fair amount out here in Seattle too. Like the mountains are, I mean, I can skin an hour from my house, which is really not that bad. So I've gotten in a good routine of having that as part of my cross training.
That's really cool. And yeah, I think the VK distance is just really good for athletes coming out of college anyways, because you guys have so much speed that really you just got to like hang on. And you know how to dig a hole more than most people.
The pain cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like right now it's just like people use it for like tune-ups and stuff. So that's exciting. Do you anticipate your training is going to change much, or do you have like a coach that's going to help you with trail specific stuff?
I mean, I think my training will change a little bit just by nature of probably not racing every 2 weeks in the future, but and also like I would like to incorporate a bit more trail stuff. Like even if I'm competing in track, I think that it would be easy for me to incorporate like easy runs on trails or long runs on trails during that season, which I haven't really been able to do while I've been at Washington, just by nature of training with a team and kind of having like a more specific track focus. So I think that will change a little bit. I'm not really sure where I'll be living or what coach I'm going to be working with or who I'll be training with in the coming year. So I'm, sorting out all those options. And I think a large part of that will be what my contract options are and like what type of support the trail team is able to provide. So yeah, it's just a lot of moving pieces, but I think it will change a little bit, but hopefully not too dramatically.
Yeah, that's exciting to have options and not really know where you're going. You get a lot of flexibility right now. So, so we know that you're focusing on track right now through June, NCAA championships. Do you have a trail schedule after that, or do you just kind of waiting to see how you're feeling?
I mean, it's all loose. I definitely have a bit of a schedule that I would like to do. But, I need to see how I'm doing come June and honestly July also, because I would like to race at USA's if I can. So right now, my thought is to go over to Europe after USA's and do some of the World Cup races and then also some of the Golden Trail and just get like some more like international exposure. And then I want to do Pikes Peak and Mammoth Trail also later in the summer. So, I mean, I have ideas, but it's all loose. I don't know what will happen. And a lot of that, I think, will depend on where I'm living and how my training is going.
That's cool. What like European races can you share which ones you're interested in?
I mean, I'm definitely interested in, I think like Sierra Zinal is a big one that I have on my calendar. And then also, I did a World Cup last summer. It's like the climb to the Eagle's Nest. I'm not going to try and say that in French because I'll butcher it, but I did that one last summer. It's a World Cup and that was awesome. I loved that race and the course was super cool. It just like goes right up the side of Mont Blanc. So I'd like to make it back there. That's in late July. And then maybe like Pistry VK. Nice. So that's what I have right now, but we'll see.
That's really cool. Man, Sierra Zinal is just becoming this really cool. I'm glad it's picking up momentum in the States. I feel like we've been underrepresented in maybe like the past 5 years. So to have so many fast people going, what sounds like this year is really exciting and last year too. But yeah, that's awesome. What goals do you have for the remainder of your NCAA career?
Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, I just want to enjoy the rest of it, I think is like the biggest thing. Like I have like performance goals and I got like a little bit banged up at the end of indoor season. So I just took a month off of running and I've been cross training pretty hard, but just kind of getting back into running workouts now. So things have been like a little delayed. I'm like, I don't really know where my fitness is at. So it's hard to set like a performance goal, but yeah, if I can just like have a really good time and leave college, like feeling like I did my best and I had a really good career and had a great time living here and training here, then I think I would call it a success and I'll be happy with it.
I love that. So I guess any last like things you want to say, people you want to shout out, comments about the trail team, anything before we sign off?
Oh, I mean, I guess just like big shout out to Andy Wacker and everyone who's been helping him. I know Grayson's done a lot and Allie McLaughlin and Adam Petterman have all been playing a really big role in making the trail team happen. And it is such a cool network and such a cool concept. And they also just launched like the Trail Team Club, which is another group of like 30 more people who are all kind of taking part in it. So I'm just really excited to like be a part of this network. It's like something that US trail running needs so badly. So shout out to those guys. Such a cool idea and like really cool to see it actually happening.
Yeah. Dani and I, every time we've have this conversation, it's like, man, we wish we had that.
I know. Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're going to like feel the schedule out and see how your body feels. Cause I would say that is the number one mistake I see of people coming out of college is like, you're so used to racing all the time that like when it comes to trail running, you're like, yeah, I could race every weekend because you're just used to that system in college. And so, yeah, I think that's really smart to just see how it goes. If you're feeling good, obviously VKs, you can recover a lot faster, but just kind of inching your way up. So yeah, for our listeners to just know, you don't have to race every weekend.
Oh God.
Oh God. I literally could not imagine. Some hard lessons there, I will tell you.
Yes. Even like once a month is yes, we're present.
Well, Well, Anna, we are so excited to follow along with you this season and see hopefully another VK specialist rise. That would be really cool to follow along. Bummer you won't be able to try out for the team this year, but hopefully next time around you'll be a veteran by that point. And so we'll see you donning the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, thank you both so much for having me. It's been fun chatting with you.
Yeah, of course. This has been the SubHub Podcast, brought to you by Freetrail.